Hammers, build your body and your bank. Check out how to earn 10K per month plus with my business intelligence, finance technology, consultant training accelerator program. Link in the description. Hey guys, welcome back to Hassan Hammer Fitness. So in this channel, our objective is to document how to put on 50 pounds of muscle naturally. And I see a lot of online discussions and just the general culture phenomena of pushing towards non-natural routes. I've been on a bit of a bodybuilding mission as a secondary activity, but I've put on 40 pounds of muscle far, which motivated me to start this channel. So that is the objective. Now, the first question is it possible to put on 50 pounds of muscle naturally? The answer to that is yes. And the reason is I'm only 10 pounds away. I've put on 40 pounds. If you don't believe me, click on my channel name, click on the banner, and you'll see a picture of me when I was 127 pounds, and currently I am at 170 on the dot. So how to do this? First, you need to get your protein. I know online there's a current push that you don't need a lot of protein. It still works out to be about 180 grams per day. Channels like Jeremy Ethier even hopped onto that recommendation, but I will tell you that this is one of the most important changes I made. It is probably, there's two changes that I'm going to say number one. There's no number one and two. First is intensity-based techniques to push to failure using supersets, drop sets, partial reps, and rest pauses. Okay, so that is number one. And the other thing that's number one is also 3 protein shakes per day. Both of them are needed, and if you do, that's what worked for me. So in terms of protein shakes, what I do is I take 3 bullet blenders and I put a 1/4 cup of chocolate milk, a scoop of protein, a scoop of oatmeal, a scoop of creatine in each, and a third banana, and I blend it all up, and the rest is water, and into 3 shakes. And I've been having those shakes every single day, 3 of them a day for the past 2 years, and it exploded my muscle growth. So that's the technique number one. The technique number two is getting your workout right. So for me, before, I was doing what's called the bro split. And what that means is I would pick one body part and I'd do it Monday, then I'd pick another body part, I'd do it Tuesday, and I'd pick a third body part Wednesday, and so on. Now, I was actually working out 7 days a week, and I plateaued over here, and I had to change my technique. So what I did was I started working out every other day, but I pushed harder as well. So more intensity and more rest, and I started blowing up. So in a period of 24 months, I put on 40 pounds of muscle, which is at the upper limit of what's possible genetically, naturally. 20 pounds per year, 2 years in a row is unheard of. It's not that hard. That's how I did it. Now, in terms of workout program, so what I do is I do back and chest, and then I do take a day off, and then I do arms, and then I take a day off, and then I do legs. For legs, it was instrumental for me, especially in the beginning, to do 9 sets of medium weight, 20 rep, they call it astergrass squats. Okay, so I do believe that supercharged my growth because it increases testosterone and overall muscular growth throughout the body. So I got inspired by Tom Platz. I started doing 9 sets hack squats, the one you put it on your shoulder, it's at an angle. And I would do 9 sets, 20 reps with 45-pound plate, just the same weight for a year. And my physique blew up, my legs blew up. And so that was instrumental. So with the combination of protein shakes and the workout routine, that is how I did it. So today we're actually going to be doing arms, shoulders, biceps, and triceps. And the accessory group, I didn't always used to do accessory, but now I do. The accessory group is, what's the accessory group for today? It's calves. So I'll either do it at the beginning of the workout or the end. Now for arms, what I do is first I warm up with a maximum set of pull-ups. You can do 5 minutes of stair climber as well. I like pull-ups. They're an extremely effective exercise. So I do a maximum set of pull-ups with partial reps, just 1 set. And then I will either hit calves or I'll hit them at the end. And then I'll do shoulders. The first set is an ignition set where you pre-exhaust it, 20 pounds, 20 reps, nice and clean. We're going for hypertrophy. And then 2 working sets, which is a drop set. Both of them are a drop set, and both levels of the drop set have partial reps. So that's the first exercise for shoulders. The second exercise is cross-body side deltoid raise. That's what I call it. It gives you the most stretch. So that's why I do it. And after that, we do triceps. behind the back extensions, rope extensions towards the ceiling, supersetted with partial reps and a drop set. I really do believe with I've tried a lot of workout routines. I used to work out over a decade ago, 3 years consistently. I got to 150 pounds, but these recent changes, so once I got to 150 pounds, I stopped working out for a while. I dropped to 127, 130. And then with all these changes, I was able to get to 170. So this channel will track the progress towards bulking, a 50-pound natural bulk journey. And you know what? I think that's enough. A lot of people talk about taking TRT. It's not really TRT if you start raising the doses beyond the therapeutic ranges, and they think that's a requirement. And honestly, it's not. It's the correct technique, pushing to failure, and getting the right nutrients combined together is what produces insane natural results. And I'm in the middle of a startup, so my workouts are like, it's 2:40 in the morning right now, and I still was able to pull this off. But we are here. I shall catch you guys inside. All right, so first thing is first, we are going to do max set of pull-ups with partial reps. I like to warm up like this, and I think it's a good idea. Or you could do stair climber, it's up to you. But I like the pull-up, so I'm gonna do that. Now, I do like to stand off of this because it's one variable. I have to isolate it. I know I can jump up and grab it, but I like to do them nice and clean, and this is part of my process. The full stretch is very important. That's the most anabolic part. That's at 17. I want to do one more. All right, now partials. Okay, so next I'm going to jump into calves. It's my accessory lift for today. On chest and back day I do traps, and then on arm day I do calves as accessory. Now, I only started this a few months ago. I wasn't really training calves. My thighs were good from the squats, but calves did respond well, so I do recommend it. Okay, so 30 pounds. The first set is what I call an ignition set. I got that from Ethylene X, and basically it means you don't use that heavy of a weight and you take it to failure. Now, I do ignition sets with partial reps. All these intensity techniques, I call it natural steroids, they work wonders, so I always try to incorporate them where possible, unless it's an exercise like deadlift. I don't do partials for that. It's not a good idea. I lowered that so I can get more of a stretch at the bottom. If you notice, I keep talking about the stretch. So the part of the muscle where it's the most stretch is the most anabolic part. So even just holding it there burns. So if you ever skip that part, you're wasting like 80% of the exercise. So on the pull-ups, it's the full dead hang. That's why I do the full dead hang. And over here, it's the bottom position. Okay, they're approaching failure. So I'm going to slow down the reps and grind them out. And then a static hold. And when the burning gets a lot, I'll start the partials. Just the last 5% of the movement, which really burns. It may not look like much on camera. All right, set number 2. So this is the working set, the one and only set for calves, my accessory lift. So I need to roast them in one set. So what I do is I put it on 70 pounds and I do a multi-level drop set, a 5-level drop set to really work them. Going for the full stretch. 4 proper reps with full stretch are better than 20 little bounce reps, even though you should do those smaller reps on partials. But to start with, you want to get proper reps. They're pretty much at failure, so I have to do it super slow. Alright, that's failure. Now I'm gonna do partials. Okay, so that's 10 partials, and I don't know how many reps, maybe 5, and they are near maximum burn. So I'll do 5-level drop set, but because this is the heaviest set, I am going to do a rest pause, and I'm just gonna go in there and do a few more reps with the heaviest weight. It's all about the rest pause, superset, drop set. And I do track my reps. You can see at the end of the video, my progressive overload logs. But once you've been doing it for a while, it's been more than 3 years for me, I don't get a lot of rep changes. For example, I've been on 9 reps of bench press for a couple of months now, but I am doing progressive overload. Okay, so I'm going to drop it from 70 pounds to 60 pounds. I'm going to wait about 10-15 seconds for the rest pause. And repeat. Okay, so the top is hard to get to now, but I'll make sure I get the full stretch. Okay, so I failed right there on 60 on rep number 2. And then I'll just work down the stack like that. So if you do a multi-level drop set like this, what happens is each rep becomes highly effective. Each rep feels like a lot of load near failure for the calves. And I know my calves probably look small, but they used to be a lot smaller. So these techniques really work. All right, let's go. I do want to say you should primarily be working out for the cognitive benefit. That's what got me into it. I did 1 year of high intensity interval training and I would get razor sharp focus. But this used to be a previous hobby and then the weightlifting bug bit me. Otherwise, high intensity training is totally fine. High intensity interval training. Okay, so I can like barely flex them now. They are pretty much fully destroyed, but I'll do a few more drop sets with the rest pauses. So I'm at 30 pounds now. I worked down from 70. As natural athletes, all we really have are these techniques. So if you skimp on these, there's no age, so you got to get this right. If you do get it right, it's not that hard. You got to make sure you push yourself to failure. All right, I'll do one more drop set level. I've spent about 15 minutes on my warm-up so far, by the way. I am cognizant of the time I spend on heat in the gym. I do want to keep it under an hour.
because you don't need to do something crazy like 2 hours a day, 5 days a week or anything. You could totally do this every other day for 1 hour and have near maximum natural gains. Alright, that's it. Alright, time for shoulders. So, first set is an ignition set. Get them pre-exhausted. 20 pounds, 20 reps side laterals. Nice and clean. No using momentum or anything like that. It's the tension that triggers hypertrophy. So if you cheat the tension mechanism by bouncing or using momentum, you're not getting the driver of hypertrophy, the time under tension. And that's the difference between weightlifting and bodybuilding. Weightlifting, you can work the 3-rep range and keep getting stronger without getting bigger, and that's because the time under tension isn't there. But when you combine the time under tension with near failure efforts to intensity techniques, you kick in mechanisms of hypertrophy instead of just strength gains. All right, so this is set number 1 of 2, working set number 1 of 2 after the ignition set. And it's going to be a drop set, 30 pounds with 20. I'm going to do 18 full reps and then 18 partials. And I'm going to repeat that with the 20 pounds. I know all of this because of my progressive overload notes. And we use rest pauses as needed to keep the muscle near failure. So I'm at 12, I'm going to use rest pause. All right, 3 more. All right, that's 18. And then partials. Again, they don't look like much, but after near failure, they work effectively. And the drop set. This might require a lot of rest pauses because the muscle is pretty much at failure. All right, so 8 more reps. Four more. And then partials. All right, working set number 2, 17 plus 13, 13 plus 13 on the drop. Otherwise, the exact same thing. That's 8 so far. Okay, I'm at 11. I'm gonna put it down for my rest pause. Okay, six more. It's pretty tough because they're at failure. 1, 2, 3. Okay, rest pause. All right. Couldn't get the last few full reps. That's fine. They're at failure. Part of the progressive overload is getting the rep quality better over time for things like shoulders, because it's hard to progressively overload these. You can't just add 5 pounds every week. All right. Okay, so the drop set. +13. They're pretty much done. I'm struggling to get these reps. All right, that's 7. It's crazy how a 20-pound dumbbell can kick your ass after after it's exhausted. 3 more. I'll try to get rid of the lactic acid buildup so I can get 3 good reps. One, 2. All right, partials 13. All right, so that's it for this exercise. All right, so jumping into shoulders, this is what I call the cross body cable side laterals. And the reason I like to do this is because unlike free weights, you can put the tension facing that way. Whereas opposed to free weights, you can only have the weight pulling towards gravity, the ground. So because of that, I use that as an advantage and I get the maximum stretch here for this cross body side lateral. I don't think it's an official exercise, it's just a type of way of doing it. And it's really effective. That's what I found out. So I get the full stretch. And this one's about mind muscle connection. So I'll do quality reps and then partials to failure. And I'm trying to constantly find the maximum stretch. I know where that is because in the mirror I can see striations when the stretch is there. So I can fine tune by twisting my body. All right, that's failure. Half reps. Left arm first, and then I get the right arm to match it. This is to avoid disproportion. All right, same thing with the right arm. Hopefully I'm in the frame. That's failure. So half reps, or more like 1/5 reps, but partial reps. And notice how the partial reps I'm doing at the most stretch part. That's why they're called lengthened partial reps. I apologize if you know all this already. I'm just going to assume I'm speaking to the beginner. All right, that's it for shoulders. Next is triceps. So I'm going to take a 2-minute break so my triceps are fresh, and then we're going to head off to shoulders. Or sorry, triceps. All right, next is shoulders. Triceps. What's it called? 22 pounds. Put that on. Just like before, ignition set first. So this is 20 pounds. I'm going to do about 20 slow reps. Wake the triceps up. Now, every machine is different. There's another machine I used at another gym. Instead of 20 pounds, I'd be able to do 150. So the variation between machines is absolutely massive. So what you want to do is you want to pick one machine and just use that one, even if you have multiple ones in your gym, because there's things like differences in cable and differences in kilogram or pounds, and you just want to keep the variable constant so you can just track your reps and your progress instead of having to guess. So I found progressive overload is more about accurately tracking the reps more than the weight for hypertrophy, because I'm working the 15 to 30 rep range usually. So sometimes the weight doesn't increase a lot, but the reps do. And that's what I'm tracking. All right, so this is the first working set and only working set for this exercise. After this, I switch to tricep pushdown. So it's going to be a drop, 50 pounds and then 27 on the drop. And I really want to have a good set here because I only get one. So I'm going to stand close to the machine so it pulls straight down. All right, it's pretty close to failure. And then partials. All right, it's too close to failure to get a lot of partials, but with these techniques, you can get to past failure a little bit. And then drop set, and the same thing. Okay, I'm just gonna take a rest pause right here. And because of the stretch, this static rep even burns. Alright, that's it for that. Alright, so the last exercise for triceps. This is a run the rack style drop set. So I'm gonna start off at 88 pounds, 40 kilograms. And I'm just gonna run down the rack and do a 5 to 10 level drop set and pretty much just throw everything I can at it to get the tricep fully destroyed in one go. The heaviest weight, I will do a few I will do a rest pause just so I can do the heaviest weight more than once. Okay, so it's at failure. So now I'm gonna go from 88 pounds, 2-level drop set to 71 pounds. This one's in kg, that's why it's all weird. Oh, that was still 88. Oh, that's much better. So this technique keeps every rep in the effective range. So even though I might be doing more than 15 to 20 reps or something, each rep is highly effective because of the way of the drop set. So Jeremy Ethier, he did a video showing hypertrophy gains between 15 to 30 rep range and 8 to 12. And he concluded the 15 to 30 rep range is a little bit better, but first half of the rep movement is wasted. So if you do it this way, you get the best of both worlds. First, you experience the heavy weight, and then you experience the lightweight, and you get the time under tension with both loads. So I think this is the best way to do it for hypertrophy. Okay, I'll give it a little bit more rest pause because triceps are struggling. Definitely feel it. Alright, that rest pause was way too much because now it doesn't feel heavy at all. I'll probably do 50 of these reps now. Okay, I spoke too soon. This suddenly failed. Okay, instead of double level drop sets, I'm going to switch it to singles level and no more rest pause. Did definitely have a really good pump. So that's how I did it. That's how I put on 40 pounds of muscle. These intensity techniques, 1 hour every other day, and the 3 protein shakes I was talking about earlier. So it's totally possible. Just gotta go every other day and push and use drop sets and rest pauses. Okay, that's it for triceps. Let me see if I can show you guys this pump. Hopefully I'm in frame. All right, let's go work out arms. All right, so time for biceps. Now for this, I do 2 sets of barbell curl, and this is 80 pounds. I'm gonna do it 10 reps and 6 partial reps. And then one more the same, but with the drop set to 60 pounds. And to give you guys an idea, I am about 5 minutes away from the hour mark. So I'm pretty much on track for how long it should take. And the thing with this exercise is I started with 50 pounds and 2.5, 3 years later, I'm at 80. So you can't actually progressively overload this that much. So what you have to do is you have to concentrate on quality reps. So my 10 plus 6, even though I've been at those for a while, I'm trying to get them nice and high quality where I am bringing the weight out in front of me so that the moment arm is the force times distance, or the torque is great, and I'm not cheating it with these tiny little curls, because the moment, I don't know how many of you guys know what a moment arm is, but the further the weight out, the harder it is to hold. Think of it that way. So you can cheat it by holding it close to your body. So quality of reps, and good stretch, and all that is what I'm after. All right, let's get it. All right, sweet. 6 partials. These I do cheat a little. All right, last set for biceps. It's going to be 6 plus 6, drop set it with 5 plus 5, 80 pounds, and drop set to 60. All right, drop set, 5 plus 5. Might not seem like a lot of volume, but there was also the pull-ups in the start. They're done. Use the rest pause. One more. Partials. Right, sweet, done the workout. Always feels good to be done the workout. Okay, let's do a quick pump check, and I will get out of the gym. It's about 4 in the morning. So let's see, let's go vacuum. The vacuum hurts to do. Let's do back in place. Let's do a side pose. I don't think it's an official one, but definitely feel a pump in the triceps. All right, let's see. The default to most muscular. What else can I do? Let's do a front lat spread. So I need another vacuum. So what I do is I put my right hand on top of my left wrist. I push down, and that really helps. So I exhale first. All right, most muscular. I think I'll call it there. Thanks for joining me. Next workout is going to be a Tom Platz style leg workout. Okay, last thing. In summary, that's all it takes for natural hypertrophy. It's not that hard. You get your protein right, you get your exercise right, you do supersets, drop sets, partial reps, and you're on your way. 1 hour every other day, and you can put on 40 to 50 pounds of muscle. Okay, real quick. So I was just watching that, and the framing is horrible, but I'm not going to reshoot it. My pump is disappearing. And I have a bad case of Raccoon eyes. So it is what it is. I stay awake till 7 a.m. working 7 days a week. I'm trying to do a startup. It's the best way for me to work 12 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. So Raccoon eyes will go away. That's fine. I'm just trying to tell you guys how to put on 50 pounds of muscle, even though this is not my primary activity. And as for posing, I'll get it better next time. All right. Catch you guys later. Hey, are you interested in project management consulting? Check out my blog where you can get a free roadmap on how to earn $10,000 per month or more in BI-FinTech consulting. That's business intelligence, finance technology consulting. Pretty much that's a fancy way of saying project management consulting in software data projects. This is my core expertise. I studied aerospace engineering, then pivoted, then became a professional project manager and cloud solutions architect. I can teach you how to do this. If you're looking to supercharge your career, be sure to check out my blog and roadmap. Totally for free, link in the description.